With the Tories, or at least shall we say the Brexiteers, but more specifically the Tory free market fundamentalists, who are now confident that we have left the EU and that we can never return, they're setting their sights on their next targets. And that is, of course, to try and shrink the size of the government. So the first port of call is, as we've seen very recently, is to go after the civil service, even though, as we saw from Henry Hill in the Conservative Home in his article, how his 5 moves to reform the civil service, only one of them was actually pointed at the civil service, but didn't really offer a suggestion as to how to reform the civil service. And I said that this must be the new warning clarion call that we've got to really start to put out there, that the Tories, and more specifically the government, are going to try to go hell for leather and try and reform stuff, not to make something better, but just to do something because it might make the government smaller, it might reduce taxes, it might improve the economy, just as Liz Truss did in a very disastrous mini budget. That was Trussonomics. And like I say, if that was the mini budget, who knows what would have happened if she'd had the opportunity to put forward a full-blown budget. The mind really does truly boggle. But of course, this isn't the only thing that we've seen them pushing for in recent times as well. You've seen Jacob Rees-Mogg proudly pontificate that, oh, if we only lower all tariffs to zero, then magically food prices would go down. And yes, food prices would go down. The only problem is there would be drastic economic consequences to that. And as most of you know who've watched this channel before, I've talked before about the history when the UK actually did this before. This grand economic experiment from the Austrian School of Economics only lasted about 6 years before it was undone. Why? Well, because at that time, the farmers in Victorian England basically became very upset by the amount of very, very cheap corn and wheat and other farm produce that came flowing in from the States. Needless to say, I have to think history has a bizarre way of repeating itself where we've already got farmers going to, or at least very soon will be complaining about all that cheap Australian meat, lamb, pork, you name it, coming into the country. But there is one thing, and one thing in particular, we really need to worry about. Because after all, as we've said, these ideas aren't coming out of nowhere. These new crazy Tory ideas that we have seen, from Brexit to lowering, completely getting rid of all the tariffs to zero, all that stuff, has been coming from dark money think tanks, more specifically the IEA, or the Institute of Economic Affairs. And very recently, they seem to be going after the idea that if we want to make our education system the best in the world, then we've got to completely ditch the idea of public schooling. No, all schooling should be done in private. And if you can't well afford it, well, you'll just have to go to one of the really bad schools. After all, you just need to work hard and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But of course, even now, we have seen what that has. That has negative, very negative, bad consequences for the economy. You look at all the league tables from schools around the world. Which countries have the best schooling system? It's all the ones that heavily prioritize public schooling. And yet, you've got the IEA saying, oh, you don't understand. If we only marketized the education system, then somehow schooling would be better. What does that even mean, to marketize education? You've got then the IEA saying, oh, if only we were to make education private, teachers would get a 20% pay rise. Not saying where this money would actually come from. Again, it's very similar to Trussonomics. There's money everywhere. Just woo! coming out of the magic money tree that, of course, Theresa May infamously said there was no magic money tree. But this is one of their big drivers because education is a big factor when it comes to, well, the public service, the public and civil service sector. So if you sell off your private your public schooling, well, then guess what, you get to reduce the size of the state. And there is one thing that the Conservatives are very, very demanding at the moment, especially since Brexit, that they want to reduce the size of the government, that they are small g government Conservatives, emphasis on the small g, because they want to reduce the size of the government, because this would basically mean that the government is going to stop doing things. It isn't the fact that they're going to reduce departments and increase efficiency, because telling people to do more with less is a really good idea, guys. Instead, no, this is the idea that what they want to do is they want to sort of push these through by stealth, by telling people, oh, you don't understand. The government shouldn't be involved in this anymore. It should be left to the private sector. But how many times have we seen throughout history, even in recent history, of where we have given stuff over to the private sector only to be run completely into the ground? The rail network is a perfect example. Royal Mail, another example. The water companies, another perfect example of stuff that used to be publicly owned, that was handed over by the Conservatives in some cases to these private companies and entities, that they were going to be run magically better. Everything was going to be better when it was all privatized. So if that has happened to those three things, could you really trust handing over education to, or shall we say, to marketize education? I don't think we should at all. I think this is something that needs to be, uh, well, taken out around the back of the shed and quickly, quickly dispatched as quickly as possible. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and an annotation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can all buy me coffee. There's the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the Pony Club down below as well. And as always, we'll see you all next time.